anybody who hears this is going to feel like, wow, they really think I'm an idiot, huh? And they would be right. Yeah, it's a losing issue. Not only is this a losing issue, but it is a losing issue to such a massive, tremendous degree.
This is not indicative of anything other than you and a lot of people like you have a lot of hate in your heart, and you're sending them to different corners of the internet. Billy Dine gets mercilessly mocked by the viewers, aka the real gamers. Elon Musk just rage quit his Twitter stream after repeatedly dying to a tutorial boss. What? So if you didn't know, Elon Musk used to claim that he's one of the world's greatest gamers. And of all the accomplishments that he has actually taken off the backs of other people, this was one thing that he did himself. He is a real gamer, and he's really, really good at Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 2. Now, I'm not a Path of Exile 2 player, but apparently it's one of the hardest video games in the world to rank very high in. And if you had grinded every single day of your life, if you had sweat and bled and basically pooped in a sock and not had a social life or even known human touch or contact, you could find yourself ranking somewhere in the 10,000 percentile, and you would be so grateful, so grateful. That would be one of your biggest life accomplishments. And I'm not saying this even in a condescending way. It would be a massive thing that you as a human being were capable of accomplishing, that you had dedicated yourself so many hours to put into that one specific game. And by the way, I'm not mocking gamers. I am a gamer. I love video games. I play a lot of video games. I'm more of I like the first person story driven stuff than I like the grinding mercilessly on one single game to become one of the world's ranking players. But you do you. I'm not here to game shame. I like one kind of video game. You like a different kind of video game, but I can respect it. All right, I really respect speedrunners. I think they accomplish just unbelievable feats of human accomplishments. I think those are incredible human accomplishments. In the same way, some people are like, I cannot believe that a human being was capable of running a marathon. I'm like, I can't believe that as a player is capable of beating Super Mario Brothers 3 start to finish without barely landing on the ground, because they've secretly, well, not even secretly, they've coordinated the time of being able to just run and jump and land on things and just bounce all the way to the end and get these speed runs. I'm just like, wow. I think that's incredible. So for people who actually do this shit, I think that they are actually very talented at what they do. He's not that. He was lying. He's been lying this whole time. He was hiring someone to level up his character in Path of Exile 2. It got completely exposed and debunked. But I think at this point, it has to be some kind of humiliation fetish, because he's still going on live streams, even after his own daughter, Vivian, revealed on the Hasanabi stream that she did with him that apparently he wasn't even a good gamer when they were playing video games with him. He would get them to level up his characters and shit because, again, he likes hiring other people to do work for him. That's what he's really, really good at. Even after turning himself into a laughingstock in the gaming world for blatantly cheating, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk hasn't given up the hobby just yet. During a Saturday night live stream of himself playing the free-to-play action RPG Path of Exile 2, which allegedly served as an airborne continuity test of SpaceX Starlink on board his private jet, Musk was ruthlessly bullied by other players in the game's chat, as spotted by Polygon. After repeatedly dying in the game's first boss, Musk rage quit roughly 30 minutes into the stream. Gamers reportedly accused the billionaire of having no friends and charged that he will die alone, and he also looked dumb and ugly. One player said in the estranged daughter Vivian Wilson was right for having recently claimed that Musk was terrible at Overwatch. Musk's personal Path of Exile from the gaming community kicked off earlier this year when gamers started to catch on that the richest man in the world was secretly paying a talented PoE2 gamer to build up a highly leveled character that made it look like he was proficient at the RPG, a bizarre scheme Musk later admitted to. Considering the latest commentary, little love has been lost since then, especially now that anti-Musk sentiment has all risen to all-time levels. Gamers, after all, aren't immune to the abhorrent behavior and indiscriminate dismantling of the US government with the help of so-called Department of Government Efficiency. Musk appeared rattled during Saturday's stream, saying little in response to the barrage of mockery. He did, however, use a disgusting slur against the intellectually disabled to take a stab at his haters, a term he has seemingly grown fond of. There's a lot of R slurs in the chat, he said at one point. Despite several users encouraging the CEO to activate the game's Do Not Disturb command and hide the chat, Musk allowed the bullying to continue. I will pause it because he didn't know how. I don't think he knows how to turn off chat. Yeah, it's just, I don't think he's aware of that. See, check out this trick. You see that? Did you catch it? It was like magic. I can do it again. And now I will grant you your voices back. Ah, look at that. And chat has returned. I can even make it bigger. I could make this terrible on myself if I have a massive chat like that. Look at that. Right now, chat can say the worst, most terrible, and mean things about me. right now, you know? But, just like that. And it's gone. Yeah, I have no idea what they're saying. Chat could be saying rude things about me. I don't know. I got no idea. They could be saying wonderful things about me. I'll never know. Unless, wait for it. Oh, just like that. Magic. Lance's poopy pants. God damn it. Oh, whew. Nice, nice. I have no idea if I'm, or am not poopy pants. I'll never know because the chat is gone. It's a power that I have. I'm just gonna guess that Elon Musk didn't have the knowledge of how to do that. How to turn his chat into do not disturb mode. And his gaming chops on the whole, they left plenty to be desired. Elon Musk just rage quit his Twitter stream after repeatedly dying to a tutorial boss in the new PoE2 patch on hardcore, one ex-formerly Twitter user wrote. The schadenfreude of the PoE2's established player base was very real. Based on the current gameplay, there's no possible way he's getting out of Act 1, said New Zealand game streamer that goes by Quinn69TV during a response video. Science behind the, let's just say, trans discussion that is taking place every day. Every day. Just, it's all consuming. Because at the end of the day, right-wingers, MAGA, Republicans, and even conservatives in Canada, they offer you nothing in terms of making your lives better. And because they offer you nothing, politically and materially, they have to distract you. It's a process called false consciousness, the spreading of it. And they do that a lot. And so every single day, they want to get you really mad about something that most likely does not affect your life in any way, shape, or form, but it feels very real and very oppressive and gets you very mad, and you just wake up and you're like, what am I gonna dedicate my day today towards? I think I'm gonna hate the trans and them trans kids who are trying to play the sports. And so John Oliver did a whole segment where, again, using research, data, and science, debunked all of these myths and superstitions, really, in order to, I hope, give people clarity. But apparently, Asmongold is very upset about that.
Obviously true that on average, cisgender men and post-pubescent boys have some specific athletic performance advantages, though the relative size of that advantage also depends on the sport.
I love how the foundation for this is that you're right, but it's like, what is this?
For context, John Oliver released a video defending trans athletes.
It's not you're right, but it's that things are not as simple as a soundbite. And that you should probably go on, right? Like if I was to tell you, on average, blank, and then just left it there, you'd be like, well, I mean, fucking bro said it right there. Biological men, we fucking are strong. Yeah. There's billions of human beings on the planet. A lot of us have very, very different bodies, very, very different DNA, different makeup structures, the way our muscle mass is composed, all of that. It's quite complex, actually. And so while it could be on average that I might have some advantages in playing sports over cis women, that doesn't mean that I am better than every cis woman. In fact, most cis women are probably better than me at a lot of sports. And if we go further, if we get into the complexities of this, it turns out that yes, 100% trans people are real. They are people who are misidentified of the gender that they are at birth. And that now there is a massive debate, and I put debate in quotation marks because we're just talking about people wanting to debate whether or not other human beings should have civil rights. That's essentially what it comes down to. Not framed that way, but that's what it really is. And so when it comes down to it, there's always going to be entry points, right? If you were to tell someone else, hey, by the way, did you know that black people have lower IQs than white people? The average response is going to be, ew, and for good reason. You're just a massive ass racist, right? It's like, oh, that guy's a phrenologist. No, don't talk to him. He's a fucking weird ass racist. True. If you were to word it differently and use a different entry point, if you were to be like, well, I was listening to a podcast, by Sam Harris, and he had on a guest, scientist, Charles Murray, and they were discussing just how the interpretations of IQ have been, profoundly misunderstood within the own scientific community throughout the years. Well, that's a much better entry point. Someone's going to be like, oh, interesting, tell me more. Sure, let me tell you about race and IQ. And they'd be like, oh, God, I'm in the wrong corner here. Well, the same thing applies to, if I told you, I don't think that trans people should have the same rights as non-trans people, you might be like, what? That sounds pretty intense. Why would you say that? Well, I'm just saying we should oppress them. We should make their lives harder. No, I'm not on board. But if I was to tell you, hey, by the way, do you think it's fair if a guy, you know, a biological male, he's really big and muscly, do you think it's fair for him to, I don't know, play against a woman and beat the fuck out of her in a boxing match? Does that sound like something that should be tolerated? That sounds pretty fucked up. Yeah, I know. But that's apparently what's happening right now. Like, I've just been told that apparently really giant, strong, muscly men are entering sports competitions where they couldn't win against other men. So now they're just choosing to go into women's sports to beat the fuck out of women. Does that trouble you? And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay, we found ourselves an entry point. And look at that.
Athletes, and in less than 24 hours, it quickly became one of the most disliked episodes of his show. Now,
odd. I wonder after this clip came out by Asmongold if that number increased. Yeah. By the way, what is this telling us? Oh, a lot of chuds online, a lot of right-wingers, a lot of really insecure, angry men have found a niche where they can be like, we're taking back the culture. Go downvote, comrades. This is our fight. The war is upon it. This is not data or science, by the way. You're showing how a large section of the internet are reacting if the reactionaries are telling them to react to something, and they're going and targeting specific communities, and oftentimes to spread hate. Might be a little telling, too.
standing at 62k likes and 70k dislikes.
Basically, it is not the case that any man is going to be stronger or more athletic than every woman, which is some...
You're right. It's only the case 99 times out of 100.
Is that in part because the...
Where's the data, though? You're just saying things out loud. That seems like a very large generalization. 99 times out of 100. Man is better, stronger, faster than a woman. 99 times out of 100. It's just a statement, folks. It's just science.
number of trans athletes is so small. The body of research specifically about them is extremely limited. There are a bunch of studies.
Also, this, again, it's just so, I don't want to like just resort to talking about the guy who wipes his own fucking blood on the walls because he's debuffing himself constantly, the literal cockroach king. He's like lived in human squalor and filth. Like the fact that he had a dead alarm clock, sorry, a dead rat as a fucking alarm clock. Like, yes, I don't think Asmongold could beat anyone at anything except for video games. I think that is the only lane in which he can outperform another human. But then by any other metric, I'd like, if you were to say Asmongold, okay, you're stating that 99 times out of 100 men are going to be able to beat women at any single physical task, whether that be endurance running, whether that be, boxing, rowing, basketball, hockey, you name it, soccer. 99 times out of 100 men are just better, okay? And so that is an absolute. Can you beat a woman at anything? Can you beat another human being at anything that doesn't require a keyboard or controller? Can you leave your house? Can you experience sunlight? Or will you just light into flames? Or will it just be too blinding to you? Like, that's one of the things. I feel like, you know how some moles live in perpetual darkness, so they just don't really have good eyesight, and they eventually, over years of evolution, go blind? I feel like that's him outside of his natural habitat. I think the moment he opens the door, he will be blinded by what he believes to be the light of God, and then it'll just incinerate his fucking cortex, and then at that point, he will be useless. So, like, no, I do not think this man is capable of beating anyone at anything outside of video games. Yes, he has found his niche. Absolutely. At that, he is probably better than most people at World of Warcraft.
Comparing specific anatomical features like...
It's crazy how much they're going through. You want to talk about gymnastics? I feel like he should be the one going to the Olympics. This is crazy. We need to have more studies to further be certain about the fact that men generally have physical advantages over women.
But we were only able to find 12...
That's not at all what the segment was about or what he was saying in that moment. And more data is good. More studies are great. Yes. It turns out that if you just isolate one specific case study, that it might be better if we grabbed more information on a topic. That's the great thing about science. It's consistently building upon itself, so that there are moments in time when we may think that we know or understand something, and then our understanding of the known universe becomes more complex and strange and beautiful. And that's just the process. You can either like it or you can reject it. And in his case, I guess he rejects it, right? Like a lot of people aren't true believers like Asmongold. Like they may talk about how, yeah, I don't care. I don't brush my teeth, bro. I don't shower. And then they actually do because they don't want their teeth to rot out of their mouths, and then they don't want to have a blood wall. But he actually does have a blood wall. So he is actually a true believer in his own squalid filth, that kind of shit. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the world needs to reject science in a totality.
Studies that actually tested trans adult women's physical fitness in a lab or other performance scenario. 8 have a sample size of less than 20, and 2 are of a single athlete. And look.
And what do they say?
You probably shouldn't draw broad conclusions off a sample size.
Okay, then we know what they say.
It is
It is kind of fun just watching, like, I think I've proved my point. I made it abundantly clear.
undoubtedly true. Trans women will maintain advantages in some sports. Probably.
But
Trans women will also have physiological disadvantages.
But there's more to a sentence besides but, right? There's more information that can be ascertained about the world around us beyond the first thing someone says. Like, what are we doing here? 99 out of 100.
We have no research about how being trans or undergoing gender-affirming treatment impacts athletic performance in teens. And when it comes...
we have no research? Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Just for some context, the majority of women's physical records in things like running a mile, women start losing to men when men are about 15. And these are the best athletes in the world versus the best male athletes in the world that are 15 years old. Here's the truth. This premise and the fixation on this will cause them to lose elections to the extent that they continue to push it. It's a complete insult to the intelligence.
And who is they exactly? Because I don't think John Oliver is running for political office or trying to win an election right now. I think he's trying to basically push back against weirdos on the internet who have chosen this to be their main cause and decided that they are victorious if they can go to, say, one of his videos now and downvote it into oblivion. And that proves them right. You get to feel right. You could be very unhappy. You could be struggling. You could be living with your parents. You could not have a job. You could not have a girlfriend. And you could be profoundly sad, upset, and insecure as a result of it. But, oh, you got yourself a victory today. Yeah, you defeated the woke. Look at that. 70,000, 90,000 downvotes. Yeah, that'll teach you. That'll teach you for trying to advocate for someone else's ability to exist as a human.
Of anybody who's listening to it. Anybody who hears this is going to feel like, wow, they really think I'm an idiot, huh? And they would be right. Yeah, it's a losing issue. Not only is this a losing issue, but it is a losing issue to such a massive, tremendous degree.
This is not indicative of anything other than you and a lot of people like you have a lot of hate in your heart and you're sending them to different corners of the internet. Otherwise, what are you validating here? Like every single time I see this, like Geeks and Gamers, there'll be a trailer that comes out. Then all of a sudden it's like, all right, hey, everybody, apparently they wanted to wokeify Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid now is a black mermaid, as if that is a thing that can exist in the real world. We're going to go down there and we're going to show them how exactly we think that wokeness is good. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, historic downvotes. It's the most downvoted trailer in the history of the YouTube. Incredible. Great job. And sorry, what did that prove? That like a bunch of you are really, really mad online and you've chosen to direct all that hatred to, again, minority groups? Doesn't matter if it's women, doesn't matter if it's black people, indigenous people, trans people. Like, it's just like, here's the thing we hate today. Yeah, we got them. Cool, you did a racism. And then it's like, no, this is not about that. Not a bit. Oh, they love to name call. Love to call us Nazis, love to call us fascists, love to call us racists, love to call us misogynists. It's all name calling. And it's like, okay, well, so why are you upset about this movie then? Because the Little Mermaid cartoon was white with red hair, and Ariel shouldn't not be white with red hair. But are mermaids real? Are they real things in the real world that exist? Was The Little Mermaid by Disney the first version of the story? Is it perhaps based on someone else's story? Has it been adapted? Has there been a Little Mermaid cartoon on television where the Little Mermaid wasn't white? Has there been a interpretation of The Little Mermaid that was aired on television where The Little Mermaid was also played by someone who was not white? Has that actually been done twice in Little Mermaid musicals? Ones that actually aired on TV where there was already a non-white Little Mermaid? But no. This is definitely about preserving children's cartoons and not racism. This is not about transphobia. This is about showing the world how wokeness will be received if it's presented in any way, shape, or form. And also using your audience, by the way, Asmongold's audience, to direct people to go there right now and be like, oh, you let HBO know you do not talk about this. Look what happens when you do. All right. We don't want to hear about your data, your studies, your science, all that shit. Look what happens. Huh? We told you. You just got called out. Here's another rant that he was going on, this time directed towards the parents of trans children. He wasn't enough with just going after the kids.
You can be groomed for sure. No, and that's a good point, right? Is that like, that's why I said as an adult, is because like if you're a kid and like you get fed a lot of propaganda and like messaging, like I feel like every trans kid is actually a victim of a parent with a mental illness. That's what I believe. And so like I really, and this you got a kid that's like 17, right? I mean, it's a little bit more, you know, it's like not really as definitive. But like if you have a kid that's like pre-puberty and they're trans, your parents have a mental illness. That's it.
What a brave dude, you know? Multi-fucking millionaire, making hundreds of thousands of dollars every month to play video games in his fucking empire of filth, sitting there in his fucking diapers, shitting himself, playing World of Warcraft and smearing blood on the walls, and then talking down to kids, making little kids feel more unsafe, and then making their parents feel more unsafe too. Because maybe one of those little kids happens to be gay or trans, and they happen to enjoy World of Warcraft, and they happen to look up to some World of Warcraft streamers, and they come across Asmongold, and there's Asmongold telling them, hey, by the way, your parents have mental illness, and you're being groomed by your parents for existing. Just for fucking existing. Yeah. And it's no surprise, by the way, that, you know, this is a very, very chartable slope. Because now, guess what? He's giving shout-outs to Nick Fuentes, too. The neo-Nazi.
They're working. They're working, and also I think a lot of young people don't have as much investment in the stock market. So the tariffs don't seem to be as much of a tangible evil to them because they don't get to observe the negative effects. So big surprise that a bunch of old people that have capital are mad about their capital gains going down. Who could have ever guessed that? And also a lot of young people are moving away from this too, because they see this and they're like, well, this is my future and I don't want to sign it away to like some illegal immigrant. I don't want to sign it away to Israel. You know, like how many times have you guys seen the picture of like somebody saying, I'm not signing up for the draft to go fight for Israel? A lot of people think that. You know who's been popping off a lot on TikTok? Nick. You know the Nick I'm talking about. Everybody knows.
Well, why don't we see what the audience, again, of thousands of people, including very, very young, impressionable boys, are saying. Yeah, Nick Fuentes. Based. Adolf. Nick. The Nick. He said it, Keck. Poggers. Whoa. Based Fuentes. Based Fuentes. Couple of those. Keck, my goat. My goat. Nazi Nick. Based. Based.
A lot of people have been talking about him.
Interesting. So if you don't know, not too long ago, Asmongold, as is often the case with people who go down the pipeline of wanting to hate on LGBTQ plus people, it turns out a lot of their views start aligning with the Nazis, like the literal Nazis. Yeah, Nazi Germany. And again, it's usually a jumping off point for them when they start to recognize, hey, by the way, I have a lot of deeply, let's just say, indoctrinated hatred towards LGBTQ plus people, and I'm openly transphobic and openly bigoted. And then you'll start to learn about history, and then they'll start to learn about parts of history. And then they might even watch videos of a rally where you'll have, again, LGBTQ plus advocates talking about Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld, how the Nazis directly targeted both gay and trans people, how they became part of the Holocaust, the history behind that, and why Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld and the Institute of Sexology was the first mass book burning by the Nazis. And then that becomes a very kind of crisis of identity moment. It happened to J.K. Rowling, for example. She went down the turf rabbit hole, and as she got into the depths of it, you could blame it on the black mold or whatever you want to do, but she eventually reached that boiling point where someone was like, well, this is actually literally exactly what the Nazis did. And then that's when she was like, oh, did you hear that in a fever dream? And it's like, oh, you're doing Holocaust revisionism, you are? That's wild how that happens. Well, that same thing happened to Asmongold, where he got to that point and then got to that moment and then immediately was like, no, Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld was not targeted because, of anything related to LGBTQ plus issues. It was because he wrote his books in Jewish. Now, when he said that out loud, I was like, did he mean to say Hebrew or Yiddish? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, wait, no, he's issuing the correction. Ideally, someone has shown him the documentation. He could have gone to, I don't know, the Holocaust Encyclopedia to learn about why Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld was targeted, specifically both because of the fact that he was Jewish, but also because of his work on furthering our understanding of sexuality, furthering our understanding of gender, writing lots about those two topics. Being a gay man himself, Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld was actually a pioneer of a lot of our understanding of these and gave one of the first trans operations, genital surgeries, actually. So yeah, no, this is well documented. It was one of the reasons the Nazis specifically targeted him, because they felt that the degenerate sexuality of Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld was going to be pervasive and destroy German society. So it's why the Nazis targeted him specifically. So Asmongold probably has learned that. Someone has sent him the Holocaust Encyclopedia. He did his reading. He's going to issue correction. Here we go. And what does Asmongold do? He goes in front of the camera and says, so I misspoke. When I said that he wrote his books in Jewish, I meant to say Hebrew. So he doubled down because that's also just not true. He wasn't targeted because his books were written specifically in Hebrew. His books were written in German because he was German and he lived in Germany. So yes, his books were translated into other languages. That part is true, but his books were most definitely written in German. And he was specifically targeted again because his work was seen as degenerate, as perverse, and going to, again, impact what was considered to be pure Aryan Germany. So the Nazis were making it part of, again, their genocidal fascistic project. That's, yeah, it's just history, though. It's a matter of history. So I guess, yeah, there becomes a breaking point for, I guess, most of the turf-brained, transphobic, anti-LGBTQ plus crowd, where they reach that moment, and then it's like, yeah, to start believing in anti-scientific understandings of the universe means that you're going to have to give up a lot of stuff. You're probably going to have to start believing in anti-vax stuff. You're probably going to have to start believing in flat earth stuff. You're probably going to have to start doing Holocaust revisionism, because at the end of the day, you might find that a lot of your views are aligning directly with the actual Nazis. And that's obviously pretty horrifying, a pretty gross reality to want to have to live in, And that's where he's at, though. Talking about Nick Fuentes, giving him a shout out. You know who I'm talking about. You know which Nick. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, that Nick. I believe it. By the way, I just want to tell everybody that, like, not all hope is lost. Not all of the world's biggest streamers are massive ass bigots and chuds, like he happens to be. There's pretty heartwarming clip I'm trying to find. I'm just scrolling through my 10 million different, or maybe I already have it ready. Asmongold. Oh, if you look at Asmongold's channel, by the way, like I've said, misogyny is usually a jumping off point for a lot of overlap between misogyny, white supremacy, anti-LGBTQ plus, and going all the way over to Groypers and neo-Nazism. You can find misogyny usually as an entry point for a lot of people. And if you look at the content that he produces, so much of it is centered around woman bad, or women whores, or women just utilizing their bodies to try and manipulate men. And like, you can't make this shit up and all this kind of stuff. But like, I'd say the vast majority of these videos, it usually centers around one of those things as one of the themes. By the way, when he was saying Nick Fuentes, he's one of the biggest, I'd say most prolific neo-Nazi, anti-Semitic pieces of shit out there. I don't think most people need more information than that. Oh, yeah. Here's the video I was trying to find. Now, here's a good example of the polar opposite of all this, all right? I'm going to show you a streamer called iShowSpeed. Now, if you didn't know, iShowSpeed is currently in China right now and is getting a lot of mixed reviews from, let's just say, very pro-imperial US people who normally don't want anyone to humanize Chinese folk or say anything nice about them, and continue just to push this idea that everyone in China is destitute and they're living under the horrifying realities of Chinese Communist Party, who have turned their lives into horrible living conditions and made them all basically have to live in abject poverty. That's usually the idea. So iShowSpeed's over there, basically having a fun time and doing what he does. I've had a lot of people, whenever you post something about iShowSpeed, immediately bring up stuff like, did you not know that iShowSpeed used to be very homophobic? Did you not know that? Did you not know that he used to actually be pretty misogynistic? Well, yeah. When he was, I think, 16 and he started making content, like a lot of 16-year-old boys, he had a lot of shitty takes and did a lot of homophobic stuff. And he's grown over the past 4 years. He's now become one of the, if not the biggest streamer in the world. A lot of it is IRL stuff where he just tours the world and experiences different cultures, meets other people. And this might be a surprise to learn he's grown. I was a piece of shit when I was 16. A lot of people are. And I think a lot of people are, in one way or another, actively pieces of shit now. You might not realize it about yourself, but there's probably a part of you that hasn't unpacked a whole bunch of bullshit that a lot of us are just programmed with. You know, it's just the reality. Not everyone is born immaculate. And I think it was basically Jesus, and that's it. There's one immaculate conception. The rest of us are pieces of shit. And we're constantly trying to unpack all the programming that we get in our daily lives that uphold two very big important structures under capitalism: patriarchy and white supremacy. Those two things working in tandem, making all of our lives shitty, including for white men. It makes everyone's life shitty. It benefits only a very small amount of super, super rich people. Yes, they can be rich women. They can be rich black people. They can be, not part of the dominant hierarchies or structures. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of people, doesn't matter who or where you're from, are going to suffer under something that continues to consolidate a whole bunch of wealth and power into the hands of the very few. So it's not a surprise to me that when iShowSpeed started making content, it was shitty. He was making shitty content. He was being homophobic, and he was being misogynistic. Doesn't surprise me that a 16-year-old boy being a streamer was doing that shit. But what I'm very happy to announce is he has grown a lot and is now becoming, I would say, a very positive role model for young men, because there's a lot of shitty role models out there. A lot of them. A lot of Aiden Rosses, a lot of Sneekos, a lot of Andrew Tates, a lot of Jordan Petersons, and a lot of Asmongolds. And a lot of them are just doing untold amounts of damage because they're unwilling to want to learn anything. Deeply uncurious and insecure men. And as a result of that, they want to just go after vulnerable groups. They want to go after trans kids. They want to go after gay kids. They want to be like, oh, isn't it fucking epic and base that I'm being a racist right now? Cool, bro. But then it's nice to know that there's other people who are super famous and who are using their platforms for moments like this.
Just laugh at me.
Laugh at you? Don't listen to them. See, look, in this world, honey, you gotta understand that. In this world, people gonna laugh at you, talk about you, be hateful towards you. That's part of life. But as part of a human, as part of us, it's just gonna be people like that. So you just have to stay strong and be you at the end of the day. People gonna hate you all the time. It don't matter if you're the best in the world, the most perfect person in the world. People gonna hate you. You know what I'm saying? You have a nice voice.
I believe you.
Don't worry. You have a good voice. Don't worry. People talk about me all the time. People say I got a big nose. I'm musty. I'm black. I'm trash at football. Like, I'm one of the best football players in the world. You're telling me?
They don't understand you.
They don't understand me.
Yes.
They don't understand me. They don't.
Yes.
Like, I go through so much, and it's like, it's crazy.
Sometimes we are the same people. They don't like us. But we can grow up. We can get stronger.
That's right. Get stronger. That's right. At the end of the day, we just got to get stronger and ignore that. At the end of the day, chat. W speech, bro.
I love how it ends in the most streamer way possible. It's just like this beautiful, wholesome moment. Then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, W speech. Thanks, chat. But yeah, no, this beyond being wholesome, it's actually very refreshing and beautiful to see. I'll be honest with you. This is 100%, like, you can call it positive masculinity if you want, or you can call it just basically someone who's grown a fuck ton over the history or course of their lives, but also just the idea that, like, this kind of attitude and advice, it applies to all genders. It doesn't just mean for men, right? There's so many fucking Asmongolds and, again, Aiden Rosses on the internet who are just spewing the most vile fucking, hey, do you want to validate yourself? Do you want to feel better about yourself? Well, why don't you do that by taking other people down? That's what it's all based on, right? If you have Asmongold being like, hey, look at this, John Oliver talks about trans people, look at the down votes. Yeah, what does that tell you? Yeah. Well, that tells me that you want more people to go, especially your audience, and go downvote his video so more people see it. And if they're watching it, they're like, oh, whoa, why does this have, like, you know, way more downvotes than upvotes? Oh, he must be lying. Oh, I guess I have to disbelieve everything he says about the science behind whether or not human beings should have equal rights. So that's pretty sad. But it's all centered around hating on other people. It's all centered around bringing other people down, especially people who are already marginalized, people who already have hard lives, people who are already challenged in them having to deal with society when they leave the fucking house every single day, and then going after them because that in some way is going to make you feel better about your own life, validate yourself. Whereas this is the exact opposite of that. This is just 100%. There's going to be horrifying people. Just part of living in the world and growing up is realizing that there's a lot of horrifying, insecure people who want to make their own insecurities and horrifying realities part of what they project at you. And honestly, they will use anything they can. They'll say anything they can. They might attack you for the color of your skin. They might attack you for your gender. They might attack you for your voice. It doesn't matter what that is. But you can't let them win. Like, honestly, all they're doing is in their own way trying to validate their own hatred and insecurity, and they're trying to do that by taking you down with them.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This video wouldn't be at all possible without the financial support of all the people whose names you see on the screen right now. And if you want to unlock secret bonus episodes, content that we can't post anywhere else, or get the videos early before anyone else gets to see them, please go on to patreon.com/theserfs. For as little as $1, you can help support this channel and help make more videos like this possible. Our executive producers are Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Garrett Sandoval, Hagbard Saline, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Boehm, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Tigwig, Trav, and Words Greenwood. And also, it wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on the screen right now. Again, if you want to help produce this content, it's only made possible through the funding of our patrons. Head on down to patreon.com/theserfs. That's patreon.com/theserfs.